One of our services or products was that our employees could enter the HR system on an iPad or on their iPhone. For HR Mobile, they needed a password. In the old world, you basically needed 3 to 5 days for the internal HR systems to create a password. Suppose we now take 2 weeks to map the process, what is needed to get to a password. Then some of the experts put it into Blue Prism, and now suddenly asking for the password and getting a password is about 30-40 seconds. And now you're talking customer experience which is normal.
What we actually did in 2016 when we started with innogy, we did a digital stock taking. And what we saw as well is that we really have a lack of the knowledge internally. People from Shared Service Center, where we knew that in the near future they will lose quite a huge amount of their tasks they are doing today due to the development of technology, we trained them in Blue Prism. So they now are able to automate the processes they were working for beforehand.
In the past, we already automated quite a lot, and one of our pain points was the automation was done by IT. And IT developers, which is quite expensive and which takes quite a long time. With the new approach, we decided doing the development within the HR organization, and therefore we looked for young people, these digital natives who are interested just in that technology. They didn't need to have any skills for programming, any technical skills and so on. They need just to have the spirit and the fire for building up stuff. We had like maybe 3 phases. We build up the foundation, which means we set up the RPA platform, which in our case was Blue Prism. We created 3 proof of concepts to convince management, but to also convince the employees that this is the right technology for the future to automate processes. Then in the next step, we created an RPA team for automation. We enlarged the platform and the stakeholders. Together with our IT department, we created an operating model, so who is responsible for developing, who is responsible for maintaining and running the robots. We created an automation pipeline together with the business, where we defined who decides which processes should be automated and which processes should be next to be developed. And then the last phase was after setting up our structures and organization, then to go in some kind of permanent mode and to develop further automation processes. Sometimes creating complete new roles we hadn't in the organization before, like the business analysts, because also in the past quite often we automated areas, but we had no look on the process, so we automated just the old shit. And with the new approach, we said we want to automate, but we also want to analyze what can be improved in the process. So we also combined agile elements, cross-functional teams with people from different areas to work on a product, and then that was quite new for our organization.
Once a process is selected, you get a group of knowledgeable people who actually run the process, not automated, by themselves, and you collect their insights. How does this work? And you have a business analyst who also looks at the process and decides, maybe we could streamline things. If we switch things around, it might be better automatable. And you create a target process, basically. And when you have that, you get coding, and then you test again together with the SMEs. Does it actually do what we expect it to do? And if they say yes, that's fine, you can move on to production. And if not, you iterate and see that you improve the process.
Of course, we have clear KPIs. So before we automate something, we estimate what is the business case behind. And of course, then after it's in production, you can compare, and then you can see from a technical point or from a cash and amount point of view, then you see was it successful or was it not successful. We reduced also time of development. As I mentioned at the beginning, in our old world and with back-end automation and sub-automation, it took quite long to automate processes, and what we've shown is, for example, that we've automated processes with RPA within 3 or 4 weeks. The way of working, for example, with this agile approach, people are getting more connected to each other, people start again to talk to each other. This is also something I can't quantify, but it was a big improvement of our current working.